Hello, everyone. Yeah, now let's get started. Good evening and welcome to Build with AI workshop here at Google Sydney. I am Utkrishta Casey and I'll be your host this evening. We are thrilled to have vibrant crowd of AI builders, tech professionals, and dreamers in the room today. This evening is all about agentic AI, generative AI, and career tech innovation. Together, we'll explore how to build intelligent apps using Gemini and Vertex AI, generate real-time job matches, understand how autonomous AI agents are shaping the future. Before we begin, we respectfully acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of this land. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. This workshop is brought to you by GDC Cloud Sydney, GDC on campus UCID, and GDC on campus UNSW. To give you all an overview, we kick off with Priyanka sharing a talk on the dawn of autonomous AI agent ecosystems. Then we'll break for food, drinks, and yes, networking. Lastly, we dive into a hands-on workshop led by Prasiddha, who will show us how to build an AI-powered resume to job matcher using Gemini and Vertex AI. So before we dive in, please make sure to scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link to claim your GCP credits you might need for the workshop later on. So I'll give you some time to scan the QR code. I hope that everyone is done. Is anybody remaining for scanning the QR code? No? So let's get started. To kick off tonight, we have someone truly inspiring, Priyanka Gyawali, CTO at Upplft and Women Tech Makers Ambassador, who is leading innovation at the intersection of hiring and AI. With a background in software engineering and mentoring, she is passionate about building intuitive, tech-driven experiences that drive meaningful human connection. Her talk, titled The Dawn of Autonomous AI Agent Ecosystem, will take us on a journey from foundation models to fully autonomous agents capable of reasoning, planning, and collaborating. Please join me in welcoming Priyanka Gyawali to the stage.
Thank you, Utkrishta, for the warm welcome. Just give me a sec. Okay. Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing? First of all, thank you for being here, especially after the long weekend. The numbers are a bit down, I think, just because of the 4 days of holiday. Just to get started with, it's good to see some familiar faces here today. I'm Priyanka Gyawali. I am currently working as a CTO at Upplft. So Upplft is a recruitment tech platform where we manage end-to-end hiring, payroll, and compliance. Talking about my journey and my background in tech, I started my career as a mobile app developer. And I worked a couple of years as Android app developer, and I transitioned to iOS app development. And I'm originally from Nepal, moved here for my master's degree. And for some time, I worked as a technical consultant. And yeah, been a couple of years working as CTO with different startups. So here's my LinkedIn if anyone wants to get connected. Few seconds, can wait. So I'll also have a QR code for this presentation. At the end of the presentation, you'll see a slide where you can get the link to the presentation. So even if you miss it this time, that's all good. So does this remind you of anything, this slide? Yeah? So on the left, what you see is an example of formal logics. So formal logics back then, that's how we thought, okay, innovation was just some glorified symbolic manipulation, right? That's how we thought, okay, innovation, the cutting edge technology was. And also it's something that, though, like I still remember doing formal courses like calculus, derivative, and I used to struggle, but also that was something that got me so interested into computer science. So what you see on the right is a A-star search algorithm. Do you know where do we use it? GPS, yeah, Google Maps. So this was one of the biggest breakthrough in pathfinding for us, right? There were plenty of different algorithms, but this particular algorithm really helped us to go to point Z from A in an optimized way. So back then, these rigid logics, these clever AI or like search algorithms, basically, they were cutting edge tech, right? But slowly things changed. Slowly, from explicitly telling the system what to do, we moved towards recognizing patterns. We moved towards machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. So here's a little fun thought experiment. If this is the slide I have here to talk about how innovation was 10 years back, what would you put in the next slide? Just have a think about it. If I were to show AI in today's world. I know most of you have already thought about ChatGPT or Gemini. Some of you might also think about robots. Anyone thought about humanoids robot? Yeah? Okay, just one. Yeah, so this is where we are today, general purpose. AI is available, it's accessible to everyone. You don't need to be like a geek to know what are these symbols, what are these quantifiers. You don't need to be able to create clever algorithms. All you need to do is you need to have an open mind and you need to be willing to embrace the change that's coming in tech, right? So this is a bit of an AI journey. I think before we start with agent, I would like to talk more about the journey. And it's not something that I pulled from research paper or books. This is something I personally feel how the timeline was in terms of our AI journey. Instruction following agents. Let's start from there. Any idea what does mean? Instruction following AI agents? Siri, Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa. These are all the examples of instruction following AI agents. They were also AI, not capable as today's AI, but they were also an AI, right? Where they used deep learning, natural language processing, and back then it was a big deal. Like imagine letting your kid play with Alexa and them understanding maths and communicating with AI to do their day-to-day work. So that's how we got, in a way, engaged with AI. We got a bit comfortable with AI. Now I'd like to move to the previous slide again. Oops. So from instruction following AI agents, we move towards foundation models. Foundation models, what's that? ChatGPT introduced us to the GPT-3 model in 2020. So that's how we got familiar. Now we have like plenty of foundation model. I can't even remember the list of all foundation model that we have. But with the introduction of OpenAI, yeah, we have this foundation model. And even technologies like Waymo, for an example, autonomous agent, right? This is like developed by Google's parent company, Alphabet. And though they were trying to develop this technology from 2009, like long time back, but still, because there was limitation in these kind of models, there was limitation in AI, and they were not able to roll out. But as you've seen, like things progressed from AI assistant to different foundation model, and to now autonomous agents. So I'm pretty sure like you guys have already seen videos or reels of Waymo, the self-driving car. Pretty popular in US, yeah? So that's a perfect example of autonomous agent. What it does is it doesn't follow like some instruction. It is able to reason, and it is able to plan without any external source. So that's the concept of autonomous agent. So here, this year they've already rolled out this self-driving car, and I think one of the good example of from autonomous agent what we can build next is multi-agent. Any one of you have seen the Isaac Groot video by NVIDIA's founder? No? I would recommend you to have a look into this. There's a link, there's a YouTube link as well down here. So what it basically does is NVIDIA, the company, they've developed Isaac Groot, a multi-agent. What it does is it combines like different autonomous agents, and it's kind of a leader. So what they have done is they have trialed Isaac Groot in a manufacturing company where there are like different agents doing different tasks, and Isaac Groot is one that is monitoring, that is leading, that is communicating with other different agents. So just like how we human work in our office, right? There's one CEO, there's so many people trying to achieve the same vision of the business. So same thing with the concept of multi-agent. So that's where we are heading. So this is one of the screenshots I would like to share, because as I was creating this presentation, it's been, I think, 3 or 4 weeks I've created this presentation, and every time I keep on updating it, because the next day there's something new happening. There's something new I really want to talk about and share with you all. So this is something that I just added like last week. Have a look at that while I have a sip of water. So Hugging Face is one of the leading companies in AI. What they have done is they've rolled out this robot, and they've said that it's one of the most expensive robot that they'll roll out, and the cost is 70 grand, right? They've said this is the expensive. They're expecting to make these robots cheaper. So you can imagine, in next year, we can have robots for 15,000 or 20,000 as well. So this is how the concept of agents, multi-agents is taking place, not just in the software industry, but in the hardware industries as well. Okay, saying that, why does it even matter for us? Why would it matter? 2025 is the year of agent. This one line has been repetitively said by many of the big corps. And this year alone, we have seen, it's just been 4 months, right? Like this year alone, we have seen so many companies introducing agents that they were building for so long. So these are just some of the examples in the bubbles that make you think how innovation comes. And if you resist that innovation, there's no purpose on that in resisting innovation. You're just gonna be left behind, right? You can't utilize the full potential of technology if you don't really embrace it. Saying that, I've noticed that many people in my own circle, they have been so consumed with AI, as if like they've lost their personality. All they do is like, I feel like I'm speaking to ChatGPT, not them. So while I'm saying, yes, agents, AI, innovation, this and that, I really want you to understand the basics. Especially, this is one of the examples I really like, vibe coding. Have you heard the concept of vibe coding? Yeah, a bit higher, please. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. Okay, yes. So many developers, or wannabe developers, don't get offended when I say that, but they've started vibe coding, simply vibe coding. What I really want anyone wanting to get into tech, or even working as a junior dev or a student, is that learn the fundamentals. It's so important. If you just jump on the trend of vibe coding, it's like, I was telling to one of my friends, it's like you become a poet but you don't know the grammar. So if someone complains or if someone critiques about your poetry, if something goes wrong, and you're like, what's wrong? Like, you wouldn't even know what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong, right? So that's the whole concept of vibe coding as well. With all the agents, with all the innovation that comes into play, it's so important to have the basic understanding, foundation level knowledge of everything. These are here just to enhance our performance, efficiency, and just to make us, if you're a developer, it makes you a better developer, right? If you're a PM, it makes you a better PM. Just some of the examples, right? Now, I've mentioned a lot about foundation models. We already had like Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. Why were they not enough? It's because of the static capabilities. It's like they can respond to you, but they can initiate anything. They are, in a way, like waiting for you to type in something so that they can assist, right? So they have got static capabilities, and there's no memory. There's no persistency across different interaction. So what I mean by that is, whenever you create a new chat in your Gemini or ChatGPT, it doesn't remember what your previous interaction was precisely. So every new chat have got a new session. It has got new context. So that's why foundation models are not enough if you are aiming to build robots, humanoids. Like, that's not going to work, right? So that's why agents are required. That's why technologies keeps on evolving. But it's so important to understand why it happens instead of just following the trend. Another example is limited contextual understanding of the world. So when MCP was on trend, I just typed in my ChatGPT and said, what is MCP? Just explain MCP to me. And he was like, Microsoft Certified Professional, or some like medical terms. And that was the time I knew, oh my God, these models, they don't have the real world context, right? All of us are talking about it, but it's not updated yet. So yeah, they are more like encyclopedia, full of knowledge, but you can't really do anything. There's no action. So inability to take actions, yep. Now let's talk about agents. Now you have got understanding why we needed agents, why things were not enough. But before talking about agents, many people define agents as what is not an agent. Before knowing what is an agent, it's so important to understand what is not an agent. So this is a perfect example, because when I started learning about agents, I noticed like there's so many reels where someone says, I built an agent in 5 minutes, this and that. And I was so fascinated. I wanted to learn agents. And when I realized like it was just agentic workflow. It was not agents. It was just agentic workflow. So what's the difference? Is for this example, we have LLM, right? From the LLM, we get the data extracted, we have human review, we have processing tool. So we can just use different kind of tools and we can pass on the information. For example, what I can do is I can create a tool. Basically, it gets my voice, converts it to text to voice. So these are all like flows, workflows, right? All it can do is it can just do the specified task, but nothing else. But if you see in this diagram, what agent does, it not just complete task, it reflects on the task. It chooses next task as well. So it decides and it plans without you telling the system what's next to be done, right? One of the example, I think Pras, our next speaker, he have done something pretty cool I would like to share. So it's just a perfect example, like in day-to-day life. Maybe in our next workshop, you should be able to get that in detail from him. So he wanted one product, let's say a protein bar, right? So he created agent for the protein bar so that whenever there's sale, whenever there's, whenever the price goes down in Kohl's, Woolies, or anywhere, he gets notified about that. So then he can go to the store and buy in bulk. So that's one example. And we were just chatting. And I was asking him, like, is it agentic workflow or is it agent? And we started looking into his code, and we saw like the LLM, let's say for this case, it was ChatGPT, right? It came up with a price, it came up with a list from Kohl's, Woolies, and it passed the information to another agent, Claude, and it verified. So these LLMs were communicating with each other, and Pras and I were like, oh, what's going on? And they were chatting as well. They were like, no, we can find a better answer. We can find a better deal. So that's the perfect example of agent where there's reasoning. It's not just like him creating something, and that gives him a result or list of items. There's more that goes into agent. I think this diagram will help you understand. Let's just understand the fundamentals of agent through the architecture, right? Think about the 4 components in an agent. Model, every one of us, we know model, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, all these foundation models that we interact with through chat, these are models. So we have already been used to, like, so comfortable with playing with models, right? Now, when building an agent, we need models. We need tools. So tools, they fetch the data. It's like once you hear something, then you call certain APIs. So these are just some of the work that tools do. Orchestration. So this is the main, like, brain of an agent. Because what it does is, what makes something an agent is just the orchestration and the runtime part. What orchestration does is it understands the vision, and it creates goals. It creates profiles by its own. If you've just said, like, I need to create an agent that does this and that, it does way more than that. And it holds the memory, short-term, long-term as well, and it does planning and reasoning. That's the critical part of building an agent. By runtime, what we mean is executing things in runtime, deciding some things in runtime. So just the example that I've said about the protein bar, what execution in runtime does is, if something fails, then it wouldn't give like bullish answer. It will come up with something like a better solution, right? So that's how execution happens in runtime, and not only like when we invoke it. So not AI application is an agent. The concept of zero sort and few sort, I think anyone who have been learning about agents, they might have known this already. The concept of zero sort is like, you give one prompt to your LLM, you just give one response. There's nothing else you can expect out of it. That's it. If you built a system where you have zero sort, but then you've used RAGD as well, so that fetches information from external sources and makes sure the LLM is updated, or the response that you get is updated. That's zero sort with RAG. But can we call that an agent? Yes? No, right? We can't call that an agent. Not every AI application is an agent. So if you're doing any work, if you're a developer, if you're a student, if you're building an agent, make sure you know how to differentiate. What is really an agent? What is an agentic workflow? And what is automation, right? These are the 3 different ways that people are innovating, but we need to be able to understand and differentiate what is what. Okay, what next? Now you guys know what agents are. What can you do next after this? You can build with Gemma. Anyone already familiar with Gemma? Up, up, up. Yeah. So what Gemma does is, it's just one of the foundation model. It's lightweight, but it allows you to locally build the model. You can locally, without getting like tons of credit from Google or different other cloud environment, these local models enable you to cost effectively train and get connected and build something. You can build agents with Gemma. So one of this screenshot that I've captured, it talks about Gemma 2 and Gemma 3, they are classified as best in class for reasoning. Now, out of everything that foundation model does, they've said it's best in class for reasoning. The reason is because for building an agent, reasoning is so important. Otherwise, there's no point of having an agent if it's not able to reason or plan on its own, if it waits for you to feed in information. So the Gemma model is one of the best in class for reasoning. That's why building an agent with Gemma, it's going to save you lots of time. So let's talk about agents in enterprise world. I'll just give you some time to have a look at this stat. Anyone heard about Upplft? 2, 3, yeah. Basically what they do is, I think they're US based. What they do is they are a threat to developers. Not exactly, but what they are doing is you can build softwares through Upplft application. You no longer need developers to build something that's how things are shown now. But basically, they are building a great technology consisting of different AI agents. They are one of the fastest growing startups as well. Now they are a big company with big revenue. So they've used AI agents, and their subscribers, whoever have subscribed to Upplft, they have grown to 45% since they released their AI agents. So just the AI agents simply have impacted so much in their business. Now, another example is Ernst & Young. They've deployed 150 AI agents in the tax and compliance sector. So I'm pretty sure you might have already known, dealing with anything tax and compliance is such a manual labor. And I was really hoping, with all these agents, someone could just simply do something so that we don't need to care a lot about accounting and these kind of filings and everything. So they have done pretty well. They've created 150 AI-powered agents that does the work, and they've been able to reduce their manual labor as well. With Salesforce, Salesforce last year, they've introduced Salesforce agent. They've created almost 10,000 agents now. So imagine for a company big as Salesforce, where they already have huge customers. So if you just think about it, if you're working in a company, it's big, but they are not using agents, then maybe you can speak to someone on a higher level. You can have these kind of chats about agents with them. What it basically does is it just accelerates things, right? They already have different businesses using Salesforce. Now, with the help of AI agents, it's just like additional revenue for them, right, with what they have built. But what you need to be careful is not to use agents when you think about the risk factor as well. So some of the insurance companies have used agents, and they have failed. They have failed because it's such a risk-taking sector. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to let an agent provide refund to millions of users. So that's how they have failed. So there's different use case where you can build an agent where it can be a bit harmful as well. So, oops. It was supposed to show some resources, but for some reason it's not. Do you mind taking a QR of this? And if you go to the presentation, the second last slide, if any one of you can just let me know that you see some pictures. Those pictures have some links in it as well. So what you can do is once you go home, if you want to learn more about AI agents, you can get started with it. Just the second last slide, yeah? Thanks, yeah. So there you have 5 links to get started with agent. Google recently, it I think hasn't been even a week, a week or so, Google introduced the concept of agent-to-agent protocol, A2A protocol. So I've added a link of A2A as well. So what you can do is you can start playing around building agents. A2A allows you to communicate different multi-agents together. So there's agents development kit as well. There's so much you can get started with. And if you see in that slide, beneath that, you'll see two links. If someone who is like not too technical but still want to learn about agents, there's companies like Crew AI, N8N, who lets you like build your own agents and incorporate that in your day-to-day life and see how, what different kind of use case you can come up with. Saying that, yeah, this is the QR. Hope you've got it. And I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Priyanka, for such an insightful session and taking us through the journey of AI from back in years and right now. And like me, I think everyone is also clear on like not everything we build with AI is agent. So thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause to Priyanka.
Thank you, everyone. If there's any question, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be around here. Sorry.
Yeah. If anyone has questions, I'll bring the mic over. Please raise your hand, and I'll bring the mic over. There.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, first of all, it's a fantastic talk, by the way. I just wanted to ask, what AI agents are you using in your companies? In your company, sorry.
Oh, yes.
In your day-to-day work.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that actually. So the company I work with is Upplft, which is, as I've said, like a recruitment tech platform. Basically, we have a platform that does end-to-end process like hiring, payroll, and compliance. So companies, they use Upplft to have like a talent pool so that whenever they post a role, they'll be matched with candidates. So in this process, there's few things that's manual. Recruiters, I think I've said this. Do we have time?
Yeah, go.
Okay, yeah. So before working with Upplft, I used to hate recruiters. I used to dread taking up any calls from recruiter. But then now I'm in this recruitment business, so I need to change things, right? So what I've started understanding is if someone is a recruiter, they really don't know about the technology that they are hiring for, right? If you're hiring for a Swift developer, if you're hiring for Kotlin developer, they wouldn't know if they are the right match or they should be taken to the next stage. So there's like so much of uncertainty going on there. So what we have done is we have built an agent for that does the skill verification. So it's so easy. We have a job description and we have someone's resume, right, for an example. Now what the AI agent does is it matches and sees, okay, these are the points that's missing. If I'm looking for someone with a slight experience in Objective-C because we have like a very old code base, then in that case, that would mean a lot for the business, right? Someone with an experience of Objective-C, not just an iOS developer. So the agent will give a summary that these are the points that you might want to touch upon when you communicate with this agent. So whenever the recruiter gives a call, he's pretty sure what are the things that he will need, because everything else is in the CV. Like he's not a technical person to do the interview or test it, but he needs to make sure like those main bullet points of the job descriptions are matched. So this is just one of the example. I think that's all I want to say. Everything else is proprietary.
Any more questions? Yeah, wait, I get you.
Hi, just talking on maybe this perspective of the layperson. I can see what the use case would be for them using Gen AI for, I guess, or just using large language models to get a response for a question they have, or generating a fun image. What do you think would be sort of the use case for just, the layperson to use an agent?
Sorry, what person?
A layperson that's just like your everyday person who's not necessarily technical.
So I think that's where these companies, have you seen like Crew AI and Eniton, what they have done is they build this technology. They've used agents, but it allows you, like anyone, whoever is capable of communicating with ChatGPT would be able to capable of doing things with their tools as well. So I think one of the good starting point is that building things for your own. If you want to be reminded about something, or few small tools, like few small apps that people used to subscribe back then, like now their subscription is also growing slow. It's just because of the concept of agents. Now anyone can build things. If you wanna like create a graphic, and if you wanna convert it into, let's say, something else, then these agents, it has to have like multiple use case. I think in my last chat about that, someone asked, like someone just said, like simple thing, you give an output and you give that. Should I really build an agent for that? And that I questioned, like, what's the purpose? If it's as simple as that, as simple as an answer from ChatGPT, you really wouldn't want to build an agent. But if it's just like the example of booking flights, right? You want your agent to find the best deals for you and then do the work as well. Then book the flight and then do all the monotonous work. So that's just one of the examples, but you can come up with different other use cases as well, where you can use agents and you can simplify things, the whole workflow.
Okay, so automation is the main.
Automation, yeah. But instead of simply being automation, it's letting the agents like communicate with different LLMs and give you the best solution. Automation is kind of way static. Like you've automated something, you've created an API, and that's all, right? But then working with agents lets you communicate with different agents and get different perspective as well. Cool.
Sorry, any more questions? Yeah.
I just wanted to ask about the.
Wait.
So, like you mentioned about the insurance case for
Yeah.
agents. So, like as you mentioned the diagram, so the core part of the entire agent is LLM, and then still, if you see, like every day you get new models, you get new error rates or whatever hallucinations or reasoning, the new techniques that you are trying to implement. So, still the core part is the LLM. How do you handle that error part?
Is that around, they had agents, but why did they fail? Is that
Like
your
how do
question?
you trust it, basically? That agent will do the thing.
So
Correct.
yeah, that's the problem. You can use agents where you don't want like 100% accuracy, or that result is not going to impact someone's life, or it's not going to impact your business as well. So the way they have trialed that, the concept of multi-agent and everything, it worked well. Like it saved a lot of customer service hours. But what it did was it impacted their revenue as well. If you have to, again get some human to fix things, it's just like vibe coding introduces like whole lot of technical depths. So it's the same concept here as well. So you just need to see like if you're in a position to take the risk or not. Like all these innovation, they come up with some pros and cons, both.
So before we take the next question, I have a question. So if I am able to code, or if I code, then what framework or what path would you suggest me to start building agents?
Building agents.
Yes, if I'm able to code, then there would be some framework or something that I could try?
Yes. So a few things in the resource link that I've shared that talks more about that, how you can build, how you can use the agent development kits, and how you can use A2A protocols to build an agent. So that's a great starting point for anyone who is a developer who wants to become a developer, for them to get started as well.
Yeah, any more questions? Yeah.
Hello. It's more of like a general question. Like,
Yep.
how can we ensure like an AI agent operating on personal data, maintaining the privacy standards,
So-
especially in a decentralized environment?
So I think that's the concept of Gemma. In a way, when you use Gemma, it is run locally, right? You're not sharing that information. If you're building an agent and it's in the cloud, then you are more conscious about the privacy and everything. But if you're locally building it, so that's the good starting point, even for your personal use case. If you have like 3-4 agents, that's going to help you to become like more effective. You can have a calendar management, or anyone, if it's like a social media person, if they want to like comment in everyone's post. So those are manual labor's work, right? So that you can automate. All you need is, good CPU, I guess, and then you can locally do that.
So just to add on, so I'll come there. Just to add on it, I think there's two things there. One is something going over the wire, and the other part is the ACL. ACL for LLMs, I don't think it's a solved problem. It's a very rapidly emerging thing. So access control for accessing LLM with the data, I think that's another thing. And if you're talking about PII, personally identifiable information, then that's a completely different world. I don't think these are solved problems as of now.
But the concept of E2A also resolves that agent-to-agent protocol. So you can specify what you want to share. Imagine like just building a software. You have like different user types. You can specify, right, who should be authorized to what, how do we authenticate someone. That's the same way how E2A protocol that establishes the layer, where you know what kind of information is used by LLM and what not. But if you're just doing things for your personal projects and you wonder like if you, I personally don't log into these LLMs and have all my information there. I try to do things locally. Yeah.
There's one there.
Hi, you mentioned using agents to talk to multiple LLMs. In what situations do you think you might sort of use multiple, and what might be some of the benefits of that?
So there hasn't been, like I personally haven't felt the need of connecting with multiple agents and getting the benefit, because if you just use single prompt and have it manually in different agents, you kind of get the similar answers. But I think down the line, when the foundation model, they are more experienced as well and updated, you'll be able to see the difference. Like OpenAI giving you one answer, but Claude is giving you a better answer. So in that case, you want these LLMs to fight over each other and give you the perfect answer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Yeah.
Hi, that was a very amazing presentation out there.
Thank you.
My question is like, where do you see agents in next few years as in CTO, and how much do you think it will get integrated with the system, and if not, like why? Like that's the question.
As a CTO, I think the question that I get asked is from the developer community, like, is it still okay for me to pursue development if I haven't gotten a job, but I'm still in the pathway to becoming a developer? That's something I get asked a lot. And what I see is we really need developers, but we need developers who are able to work with agents, who knows how to build agents, who knows all these terms and technologies, how you can enhance your own developer skills as well through these agents. So I think, basically that's what I feel.
Sorry, to add on it, there is a website or a paper or something called AI in 2027 or something. People have actually tried to think what happens, and it's there. So if you want to read that, probably have a look at that.
Thank you. So do you think like if I started now, is it a really good place to work on? Like if I get started from now on?
This is the best time to start learning about agents. I think it's a bit more easier than I think back in 2020. If you were to start as a software developer, things were like a bit more difficult. But now you have a brand new role that you can specialize in. You just need to put your time and energy, get all the fundamentals there. You should be able to play with different scripts. But the concept of agent, there's a good possibility, good opportunity down the line. And one thing I would like to add is, in terms of platform's perspective or my own company's perspective, what I've noticed is it might reduce the number of employees working in the business, because the things that are done by a PM, like not a technical PM, but just PM, it is kind of, AI is kind of helping in that. If someone who is not a BA, but just a tester, then with the help of AI, she has become like a better BA as well. You know, all these, we will be able to have like multiple different skills, and we will be having like different hats. We will be wearing different hats as well. So there won't be just like one skilled person. And in terms of development as well, there won't be any single developer, like particular stack, like iOS developer, Android developer. I started my career as one, but now I'm saying that I think down the line, there won't be anything like particular stack. You know, you have to be a full stack developer. That's the thing.
There was another question here. No, at the back.
I might just sit.
Yeah, you should sit, or just at least keep your laptop down.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
If I want to set up an local AI agent, is there any hardware limitations? Like, can we do it in a small computing device, like as small as a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, it really depends on what size of the large language model that you'll be using. So I think first you need to understand different models. Start by browsing different models. There's large language models and there's small language models as well. We heard the concept of small language models. So based on your need, it really depends on based on your use case. If you're just doing for your personal use, then you really don't need to connect with a bigger large language model as well. You can just get started with a small language model. And yeah, I have seen like people using their Raspberry Pi and doing it. You just need like 16 RAM?
Yeah.
It really depends. It really depends, yeah. But try to start lower. Try to connect with LLM that's of like lesser size.
Yes. So sorry, just to add on it. Just to add on it. If you use Ollama locally, you could run many open LLMs. There is one called Smolum from Hugging Face. The smallest one is 135 million parameters, and that's skipping my mind, but it's under 300 megabytes. So even with like a 500 megabyte memory, you could run it locally. So yeah, I mean, will it do agentic stuff? I don't know. Will it do thinking? I don't know. But you could run like a small, decent enough LLM on your machine without GPUs, without having like gigabytes and gigabytes of RAM. Probably we'll take a last one and then done.
Hi, thank you for the talk. It's very clear and I can easily follow. It's really good.
That's good to know.
My question is, I have been playing with Cursor AI these days, and it's got an agent mode, which it's able to run tasks and provide feedback itself, and then run again without you giving anything. It's really similar to your slides, but I just want to confirm, do you think they are similar or different?
Is your question like, is it an agent?
Yes, is it an agent?
It's an agent.
Oh, that's exactly the one.
Yeah, I've got all my developers using Cursor AI as well, because I've noticed like that has really improved their shipping time. So, because how you can differentiate if it's an agent or not is just go in the architecture slide. If you're confused about any use case, if you have a concept and you want to understand, is agentic workflow enough or you need to build an agent, then the concept of planning, reasoning, executing in runtime comes up. Because agentic workflow, they don't really execute or change the goal in runtime. Only agents do. So that's what Cursor AI does as well.
So which, for example, they change their action based on the output in the terminal?
Based on the situation, they change the action as well. So you might have like specific goals to achieve, or instead of just following the predefined, what agents do is it can, depending on the situation, it can change the process, how they do it to achieve one goal.
I can see it making tests and reading outputs from the terminal. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll be the last question. Probably we can show the slide for the credits.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Priyanka.
Thank you, Priyanka.